start off by embarrassing him as much as I possibly can. And then by the end, hopefully, I'm going to be eulogising about him. So if you think I'm being a little bit mean at the start, bear with me. If you think the other way around, that I'm being a bit too kind by the end, just try and remember back at the start when I was being a little bit mean. So also there's some pictures. You guys at the back probably won't be able to see, but they kind of accompany the talk. Yeah, it's the kind of professionalism that I roll with. Okay, also, I'd just like to thank, we've been a bit of a sort of best man team, so there's been a few of us sort of involved, Patrick, Chris, Dan and Sam, and yeah, it's been a real pleasure trying to organise stuff for them. Jana's way of organising things leaves a little bit to the imagination, and I think his father-in-law, sounds a little bit strange saying that, did a really good job of highlighting that earlier. Okay, I'm going to start by talking a little bit about when I met Jana, and we both came from Medway, and we both started at grammar school. We came into the school new, and I met this guy in a psychology class, and he was kind of a bit scruffy looking. He looked a little bit like a hippie. I was right. And he kind of described himself as a kind of anarchist. And initially, I just thought that meant he was a bit lazy. And actually, I kind of realised later on he's a very, very intelligent, bright guy. He's got some amazing qualities. Also, some interesting ones, some ones that are less becoming. And I'm going to talk about a few of those. One of the stories that I like best about our times at Chatham Grammar is when we went there. It's a very sort of middle-class school. It was an interesting place to grow up in many ways. But when we got there, me and Jana had a bit of a chat. He said, everybody there has got one of these names, like Smithy or Jonesy or Clarksy. He's like, God, how terrible is that? It's so like middle class. So I went away and I had a little bit of think about that, and then pretty much a week after that, everybody, including myself, was referring to Jana as Millsy, and did so for the next, I don't know, how many years, 10 years maybe since I've known him. So that was the kind of fun we had back at school. And he hated it every moment. I can't tell you how satisfying that is to see somebody cringe every time somebody says their name. It's fantastic. We were quite sort of sensible kids, if I'm fairly honest, but we got ourselves in a few scrapes. There was one time when we were walking in the park and some guy accosted us with a baseball bat looking for asylum seekers. Jana had to duck pretty quick. I'll tell you that. I've never seen that man move so fast. And on that topic of moving fast, I remember one particular occasion where we were coming home from the cinema. We used to walk to the cinema. It was about 5 or 6 miles, and it was a long old way. And that's how we looked, like a hippie. Jana is a very sort of trusting but slightly naive character. I think you'd be willing to admit. And we were walking home. It was late at night, and he was getting pretty tired. And he turned to me and Steve, and he said, "Guys, I really need a break." He said, "It's 10 o'clock. We really want to get home." He's like, "I'm really tired," like he does. And I think somebody else picked up on his walking too. So we said to him, I came up with this ingenious idea. I forget his meal, Steve. I'll take credit for this time. He said to me, I said to him, I said, "You run ahead. Look, run ahead. Then you can have a little break. And by the time we've caught you up, you'll be refreshed. You'll be ready to carry on." And he kind of, "Oh, okay, that's a great idea." And he jogged along, and I kind of nudged Steve, and Steve kind of nudged me. And as he started running, I don't know if you've seen Jana run, it's particularly entertaining. It's got like a little kind of waddle going on. It's great, I love it. Brilliant. If you ever get a chance to see him run, any excuse to get Jana running, honestly, worthwhile. Yeah, anyway. he ran ahead, and so did me and Steve. We followed him, running just behind him, but he didn't hear us. So he kept jogging, and the look of sheer panic when he saw us, sort of 200 metres down the road, and realised he wasn't going to get his break. He looked at us back, he panicked, and he started running faster, and faster, and faster, until he was nearly home. He was exhausted. So, I don't know how he managed it. I remember one other time we went for a run with Jana. He was trying to get fit, still working on it. And he said, we started running, and he turned to me and said, "How long have we been? How long have we been?" I said, "About 20 seconds." And well, we got a picture somewhere, Matt. Just skip a couple forward. This is that's a funny one too. We got a picture of Jana's bike somewhere. Yeah, that's him chatting. That's him with the DG. Yeah. We'll find it eventually. I'll continue. Okay. Another really funny occasion, that's his bike there, growing grass. You see that? That's the problem we face daily. Come on, Jana, you can get fit, you can do it. Just ride your bike. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There was one time we were sitting at home, this is a particularly pertinent story. We were sitting at home when we were both at university, and he says to me, "I really need a haircut." I said, "I can't believe you went for this." I said, I'll cut your hair. I can cut hair." I said, "My mum used to cut hair. It's basically hereditary. Anybody can cut hair." So this was his hair at the time. And so I started cutting his hair. He let me. I couldn't believe it. I was really astonished. And there was a sort of, I think if you see the picture, there's a sort of look on my face of surprise and sort of adulation. There it is. You see that? So I was cutting his hair, and the one thing I remembered about cutting hair is you cut up. And I was doing a pretty good job. I was cutting up, I was going away, it was looking pretty good. But then there was this one little bit, just around by his ear, and I was trying so hard to cut it. Trying really hard, just above his ear. You see it there? His eyes got a bit startled there. And that was probably the moment where I just thought, oh, screw it. And just above his ear. Just a little bit above his ear, which was an enormous bald patch above his head. And we were a bit worried. We were like, what can we do? How can we rectify this situation? So we kind of looked around his house, no razors, no proper scissors, because we were using school scissors. So we had no way of rectifying the situation. So what we did was, we kind of gave him a Mohican. But we couldn't really shave it around the side, so it was just kind of short. And we weren't very good at cutting hair. It was pretty wonky too. It was like a really wonky, really terrible Mohican. You can kind of see there a little bit. But there's kind of like a strange geometric pattern in his hair. And we said, yeah, okay, we kind of left it. Yeah, it looks fine, Jana, it's good, you know, you can go out like that, it's fine. And he came with us, he came out like this. And little did he know that this would be the day where he would meet his beautiful wife. The most ridiculous haircut I've ever seen. And I think it says something about the sort of the quality of Louise, the way that she looks at people, the things that she admires in people, that she wouldn't be put off by such a frighteningly ridiculous haircut. And also says something about the things that they value in each other, perhaps not being so skin deep. There's one other, well, there's actually quite a few other things to think about. One more thing is there was a particular time, Jana and Louise, not long after that, we're just kind of getting it together. And it's like, you know, that really sweet time where, you know, people just kind of fall in and laugh, and it's really lovey-dovey, text messages, little phone calls, like, no, you put it down first, no, you put it down first, no, you put it down first, all that kind of stuff. And we were out, it was somebody's birthday, it might be my birthday, it might be Steve's, it might be Jana's, it was Jana's birthday here. And Jana was foolish enough to leave his phone on the table when he went to the toilet. We were a bit younger then, we liked to play pranks with each other. So Steve ingeniously switched his own number with Louise's. And then, as Jana came back to the toilet, Steve said, I've just got to get a call. So he leaves the pub, and Jana's kind of taking the call. And Steve says, in the most, I can't tell you how ridiculous, I'll try a little bit, it's worse than this. He says, hello, it's Louise. It's like, I think I love you. What am I going Well, you can imagine his heart rate went up to like 500 beats a minute. He was like, yeah, sure, yeah, come quick. And then he was like, will you kiss me? He was lapping it up. And when he came back to the pub, and it slowly dawned on him what had happened. Because we were in such hysterics, I can't describe it to you. But he was loving this. I mean, bless him. And he was so embarrassed. It was hilarious. But they managed to get through that setback. And when Louise did arrive at the pub, he didn't say a word about it. Yeah. One thing I've learned over the last week is that regardless of what Jana says, this man cannot handle his drink. Listen to it 100 times, don't be that mean about it, but I should have twigged onto this a long time ago, where he said to me, we turned up at the pub and Jana was a little bit drunk, and we said to him, how much have you had? He's like, I've had 1 beer and 3 J2Os. J2Os, no, we never let him forget that. Dan reminded me of that actually. That one's funny. You have that twinkling. But no, seriously, we won't mention the stag do, but that's one thing I will warn you all. When Jana says I can't drink, he really can't drink. But okay, I'm gonna start eulogising. Stay with me. Jana is not a wealthy man. But he has, wait, it's coming. But there is an enormous wealth in the relationships that he has with people. And I think that just the number of people that are here today, and just having been privileged enough to be around today and seeing how you guys interact with him and the kind of relationships you have, friends, family, amazing sort of, just an amazing to see what what this guy inspires in people. And the thing that really struck me as I've got to know Jana, this is the eulogise bit, is what a fantastically principled man is. And I come from a place called Chatham. You may or may not have had the privilege of being there. There aren't too many principled people around there. I'll tell you that now. I'll tell you that for free. I'll warn you. But Jana really struck me, and I've been incredibly proud that he's invested such time and energy in the relationship that I've had with him. Because he's such a strong and dignified man, and he fights his principles to the absolute wire. And we've had, one of the things I love about being friends with Jana is we have the most fantastic arguments. We both really love to argue and debate about stuff. Like everything from religion to politics to sport, any kind of chance. And most of the time it's just one of us taking the sort of devil advocate's position. What I would do, because Jana's far brighter than me, is I have an argument with him just for the sake of it. And I kind of pick up on his argument. And I go away and I have his argument with someone else, and I always win. It's a brilliant tactic. I tell you, if you want to win arguments with people, have an argument with Jana first, get your position, go out there and argue with other people. It's an honour. And he always pursues his values with such energy and ferocity, and he's so determined. It's pretty special. And this has been in some pretty amazing areas too, whether it be giving shelter to the homeless, whether it be giving a voice to the powerless, or whether, in my case, it be giving compassion to the narcissistic. Jana has inspired me to want to be a better man, and it's a bit cheesy, I'll give you. But he really has, and I've got an enormous amount to thank him for. And I guess as well, there's a sense in which this day is a very special day for Jana and Louise, and it is celebrating a union for them. Also, from mine, I'm sure a lot of other people's perspective, I think it's worth acknowledging there's a bit of a loss there. The end of an era for Jana and myself, and for perhaps a lot of the friendships you have. It's giggling now. It's just a bit of a defence. We'll have a hug later. And I think that's worth acknowledging, that I think some of these events, like there's lots of high feelings and lots of things, because I think there are lots of mixed feelings when it comes to weddings. When it's the start of something new, and always that unspoken thing about it being the end of something too. So that just really leaves me to say that I'd like to say congratulations to Jana and Louise. I'd say that I'm immensely lucky to have found, well, I don't know if it's lucky, maybe it's something else, maybe something's happening to this atheist. They're very, very lucky, and I'd like you to join me. Oh, one other thing, just before I toast. I'd just like to say, that at Louise's hen do, Jana was asked, I'm just going to go back a bit, you see how I did this? Jana was asked what colour Louise's eyes were before the hen do. I nearly forgot this. And one other small characteristic, Jana, is this observant. It's how he's been filtering out irrelevant information for the last 26 years. Louise's friends asked Jana what colour Louise's eyes were. A pretty basic question, somebody who you're going to marry. He said, hazel. Take a look at your wife's eyes, Jana. Your wife's eyes are blue. It's blue eyes you're looking into. And on that note, I'd like you to join me in toasting to Jana and Louise. Thank you. Thank you.